And your mind is not your own. Lonely is the night when there's no one left to call. You feel the time is right. Say the writing's on the wall. Yeah. It's a
This is In the Know for Friday, September 24, the 267th day of 2021. There are 98 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast. On Facebook Watch, on YouTube Live, on Twitter Connect, and the hashtag is In the Know coming up today. We update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We get you ready for a big Honey Festival weekend. We'll tell you about that. Got Cougar football tonight. UK is on the way tomorrow, and we've got a Cougar sports report. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good morning.
Got your Clarkson Elementary rock
Yes,
shirt on.
I'm rocking
and
it
you
this morning.
are ready for. Hey, you know, every day I ask Alea, what was your favorite part of school, and she says going outside. Yes, so she's obviously already a big fan of recess.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers are having to get creative in this day and age because a lot of classrooms are not able to share the playground at the same time. Some schools are restricting use of the playground equipment because of the concerns we're in. So this teacher came up with what are called recess bags. She put recess bags together for kids, and they have chalk, they have jump rope, they have sunglasses, and they have other things that they can play themselves out on the playground with so that they're safer.
Well,
So-
and Alea has told us that Miss Cook has been doing stuff with hula hoops.
Hula hoops.
Yeah,
That's always
so
that's always a
that's
fun
some
one. So
social
that's-
distancing, yeah.
Yes, don't come within my hula
Right.
hoop. Stay far enough away from me. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Moscow, Paris, and even Greenville, Kentucky. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm happy we got tired of camping in the backyard. We decided to come back in.
It's nice.
But
a little warmer in here.
sometimes if you go camping, you might realize too that your parents rearrange the furniture while they hide the spatula, or they like move things around. So I'm kind of getting resettled back in here in the morning for this morning. But at our house, and I think the entire community of Clarkson is all ready for the Clarkson Honey Fest hat parade that's going on today at Clarkson Elementary School. So Miss Buckles over there and young Miss Alea got ready for the hat parade today. So there's she and I this morning. By the way, need to weed the landscape. And so we got her off to school. So you all made that hat yesterday afternoon. Mama Carla procured the supplies.
Mm-hmm.
You held the crafting session.
Yes.
And got her all ready. How gorgeous is she?
Right?
Be sweet is what
and she is so sweet.
she's already sweet. So, but did you get to see other kids this morning bringing theirs in the school drop-off line? Did you get to see
Yes.
others?
And they all look similar. They're trying to like make sure their hat stays on their head.
Oh yeah, sure.
So they're walking a little bit funny.
It's like
Right.
Derby Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you want to make sure your hat stays on your head, so you're more sure-footed, but yeah, it was funny.
What
to
I like
watch.
about this move here is that for those of you who aren't hat experts, this is a fedora that got converted into more of a wide-brimmed hat. So it was the little, fedora style, but then it's had a glow up. There's been another brim hot glued to the outside of it, but it's breezy, it's mesh so that the air can move through it out on the playground. So I guess my question, there's it's obviously a long life of of
So that was my
Honey
first.
Festival hat
Yeah.
parade. So this is Anna's from what? This got to be 2008, 2009,
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, 2000.
something
Yeah,
like that.
8 or 9.
Listen, can I just say hats have come a long way in about a decade.
They have.
Apparently, Mama's getting better.
I mean, they're getting more elaborate. They're getting more, and it's neat to see the side by side on that. So,
Aren't they pretty?
Yeah, they are absolutely. So it's going to be a great day for the hat parade. I also taught Alea how to do high stepping.
Oh.
So she's going to be high stepping through the parade today. I hope she doesn't regret it. Like if she does that, she goes, "Well, people made fun of me for high stepping."
Well, and to be
That's
very
all right.
clear, after he got her buckled in,
Yeah.
she said, "You have to high step
Yeah.
back to the house."
I stepped back through the garage into the house, and I did because she asked me to. It's going to be a fantastic Friday weather-wise for the Honey Fest, for the Hat Parade, and for Cougar football tonight. Sam, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be.
We get back on the road for first time in a while.
Sunny and 74 is the high today. Officially across the region, maybe a couple of degrees cooler here between the lakes. And then 0 chance of rain tonight. 56 is the low. And I think that's better than if you'd played last night because we got into the 40s overnight.
It got a little chilly. We were doing Lady Cougar soccer. It got a little chilly.
Yeah, out there when unobstructed, you're just kind of out there in the open and clear skies, and the temperature dropped. Tomorrow, there is a really slight chance of rain for tomorrow, but that when you look at the 10-day, except for that, it's except for tomorrow morning, not much chance of a rain in the foreseeable future, but a high of 75 tomorrow. We'll go through a pocket of the 80s early next week, and then as October arrives, we're going to put the finishing touches on September, and when October arrives next Friday, we'll see highs around in the mid-70s or so, start to feel a little bit more like fall. So there you go. The governor of Kentucky, Governor Beshear, is warning Kentuckians that this prolonged surge of COVID-19 cases has shown signs of leveling off, but overstressed hospitals can't sustain the current pace of seriously ill patients. As we told you yesterday, I think the last figure I saw was about 90% of ICU beds are filled. And it's one thing to go through a short period of time where they're like that, but a prolonged period. You've got women and men who never signed up to be ICU nurses, and maybe that wasn't their background and that wasn't their training, who have been repurposed and reassigned because of the run on ICUs. So you've got physicians, you've got nurses, you've got RN, you've got PAs, you got just different people who all of a sudden are working at an even higher level for a more sustained period of time than we've seen over the last year and a half. And if he says if we plateau at the level we're at right now, we cannot sustain it in our hospitals. So what he's saying is, don't be happy that we've just flattened out. We've got to turn the corner and go back down to try and give the system, and I mean all systems, a better, just give them a breather, trying to get back to normal because we're kind of at a critical mass. Yesterday, just less than 4,100 new cases were reported, 44 more virus-related deaths. We did see another vaccine milestone, and I got this information came from Bruce Schreiner at the Associated Press. But I told you earlier this week, 18 plus, 72% of Kentuckians who were 18 plus had received at least the first dose of the vaccination. The figure now is that 70% of Kentuckians 12 and over. So
That's good.
That's been a lot in the last week if this number is correct, because it says Kentucky recently reached another vaccination milestone with 70% of Kentuckians eligible to receive COVID-19 shots having received at least one dose. So you would have thought that that percentage of Kentuckians who were in that 12 to 17 range, that percentage would be very low. But it appears that that number is coming up to give us more of a 12 plus figure that reaches over 2 out of every 3 Kentuckians. So that's good. And hopefully we'll continue to go that way. There's a little bit of chatter going on because of the struggling healthcare system and funding and aid, because it's costing so much more money to attract and retain healthcare workers right now, that the governor's getting some pressure to call the legislature back for a special session just to take up this issue on how to help hospitals and our healthcare system navigate through these upcoming days. Another thing the governor announced yesterday, and I'm not sure of the timing on this, but Governor Beshear has directed that all flags at all state office buildings be lowered to half staff from sunrise today until sunset tomorrow in honor of all Kentuckians lost to COVID-19, including more than 30 educators and K through 12 school employees. It's not the first time that he's done this as governor. He previously lowered the flag half staff for a week after Kentucky suffered its first 100 losses of the coronavirus pandemic. How long ago was that? We're over 8,000 now.
terrible.
And he did it at 100. But I'm not sure. I am unsure of the significance of why do it this evening into tomorrow. We're not exactly at a milestone that I can see. So I'm not sure why now, other than he may be just resorting to the things that he still has the power to do, that tries to send messaging to the level of severity of what we're living through. Just
That's it right there. I think that's exactly what it is.
Deal with the tools in the toolbox that you've got, because they've been more limited. But you know me, I'm kind of a stickler as well on the flag issue. I think it's overdone, and that's not pointed at Governor Beshear. That's pointed at everybody. It just seems like they're always up and they're always down, to the point you don't even know why they're necessarily down and who can order it and all those. It's just.
I think in his eyes right now, though, is whenever you see a flag at half-mast, you always probably ask, okay, why is it there?
Yeah.
Do a Google, see why it is, and hopefully his instance is,
Maybe.
okay.
Unfortunately, the losses that we're experiencing in some ways, if they were down because of COVID-19 for a period a couple of weeks ago, and then we lost 13 service members in Afghanistan, can they run concurrently? Do they have to, how does that work? And that's my point about it. Just seems like that's our go-to. And I think it's a very reverent and honoring thing to do, but we do need to be, I think, a little more conservative in how often we use it, because then you look at it more times than not, and it's, at a different level. But that's, it's neither here nor there. Close to home, though, 100 new COVID-19 cases reported in Grayson County since Monday. There are 360 active cases, and according to the Grayson County Health Department, that is trending down. It had been above 500 for a couple of weeks. So to be down to 360 active by percentage is a big number when you're just talking from 500 to 360. Not out of the woods yet, though. 57 active cases since Monday, 21 patients hospitalized, 85 reported COVID-related deaths, increase of 2, but they're still waiting on official word from the state on some of those. Incident rate still way higher than we want to see it. It's at 130.8, which is down from 136 on Monday, which is still very high regionally. And I was traveling yesterday, and I had somebody from a neighboring county kind of take a jab at our high incidence rate. And I'm like, listen, we Grayson Countyans can make fun of one another if we want to and talk about, hey, this is bad. But if you're from a neighboring county and you start throwing shade at me, I'm throwing.
Which neighboring county was this?
To the south.
Edmondson County?
Yes, it was not even a family member of hers.
Edmondson County's throwing shade at Grayson County?
Yes.
Did they not see what happened in the Tobacco Bowl this year?
Stuff. Plus, don't you know stuff runs downhill? Again, it was not one of your family members. So to be clear, which, by the way, is my family member. So this was somebody from outside the circle. I was like, oh, you dirty rat. You rotten things. All right. This is a weird headline. Mysterious circumstances. The man found deceased in a vehicle yesterday morning in Litchfield has been identified. According to the Grayson County coroner, Joe Brad Hudson, the decedent is a 63-year-old Howard F. Yeager, officially of Opelika, Alabama, but he was retired and moved to Grayson County to help his son build boat docks at some point in time in the not too far past. The cause of death is currently unclear. Transported to the state medical examiner's office in Louisville for an autopsy. And we should learn probably sometime today, at least preliminary, that could shed some light on the cause of death. LPD responded early yesterday morning. I think there was a dog involved as well, and a cat that lived in a cage. That's what it was. And the animal was taken into care by the Litchfield Animal Shelter, and trying to figure out all the details on
Terrible.
that. So that's a really that that property back there, that stockyards, and it formerly was a cafe and all that, has always been puzzling to me, that it's just sat there for all these years and it's not been repurposed. It was beat. There must be something about it that it either can't be developed or it's a hardship but it's kind of out of the way. I mean, unless that's one of those places no one goes through there for any reason, and so I'm not even sure maybe how long his car and he might have been there. So again, just kind of mysterious on that.
Yeah, reading the Facebook comments, it sounded like he was a really, really good person.
Yeah.
Too. So it's really, really sad to hear.
I have by the way, just going to tell you all this on the air. Our company, Marketron, that helps with our traffic and all that. They're originally from Opelika. Like they have a whole bunch of staff members that live in that Opelika, Alabama area. So when I saw that today, I was like, hey, it's kind of a small world. There was apparently a murder-suicide situation in Trigg County in Cadiz. The bodies of a man and woman he was suspected of kidnapping were found in a vehicle in Kentucky after a brief police pursuit. State police were investigating a report yesterday that 53-year-old Tammy Beecham of Dover, Tennessee, was kidnapped from the parking lot of a business in Cadiz when troopers spotted the vehicle involved. Troopers pursued the vehicle for a short time until it stopped on US 27 near the city of Stanford. So from Cadiz and kidnapped somewhere in Tennessee, but found over on US 27.
In Stanford?
So, yeah.
Lincoln County,
long way away, right. I mean, because when I thought this was kind of a Trigg County situation, but they were found and apprehended, or they were found along US 27. So, odd circumstance there as well. Saw a headline out of Barron County yesterday, too. Barron County father culpable in the death of a special needs son. And he has been charged. The Glasgow Police Department said yesterday officers responded to West Front Street in reference to a deceased male. Detectives determined that the deceased man, a 30-year-old Richard Wicks, shared a home with his father, a 50-year-old Richard Wicks, who was also his caregiver, as the younger Wicks was autistic and nonverbal. Further investigation showed the father was apparently involved in his death. Richard Wicks was arrested and charged with reckless homicide and knowingly abusing, neglecting an adult. He was lodged in the Barron County Detention Center. No other details.
So terrible.
But those three, but just those from the man from Opelika being found dead, and then the murder-suicide in Cadiz that ends up in Lincoln County, and then this odd situation in Barron County. It's just
terrible.
I don't know. I've said it for months. I don't know that there's not anything that you can sever the ties between COVID on. You know, in a pandemic, when you live under stress and uncertainty and new dynamics and all those things, it just makes people behave irrationally, or maybe more irrationally. So you'll never be able to go back and say, that was not connected. It seems like everything's connected right now. Bipartisan legislation that would allow anyone who loses their job or must quit their job due to dating violence or abuse, sexual assault, or stalking to qualify for unemployment insurance was brought before a legislative committee yesterday, and one of the people bringing it to committee is our state representative, Samara Heavrin, along with representative from Louisville, Nima Kulkarni. They told the Interim Joint Committee on Economic Development and Workforce Investment that they are in the process of drafting a bill for consideration during the 2022 General Assembly. They're a social work professor from UK said Kentucky is the second highest state in the U.S. for rates of domestic violence, with 1 in 3 women.
Wow.
And 1 in 8 men experiencing it during their lifetime. So, I mean, I knew it's a problem, and it angers me that we have such a high incidence of it. But I had never considered I had never considered a puzzle piece of high incidence of domestic violence next to a puzzle piece of unemployment benefits, and how those two things might fit together. And I must admit, when I first read the headline, I thought, what is this? What does this mean? And so I still don't know all of the nuance on it, but one of the things that is in the story that I read was oftentimes victims of domestic abuse are reliant upon the income and benefits of their abusers, And one of the things that holds them back is, how do I sustain myself if I do manage the courage to say, you're not going to do this to me anymore?
How do I get out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are shelters but a lot of people are just too prideful to do that. I don't want to go have to rely upon a shelter, or I don't want to have to, but this apparently might give them the ability to say, I'm unemployed, but I've been unemployed because I was either caring for a home, or I was raising children, or I suspended my career in order to, be number one in the family, and et cetera, while someone else, and then I'm being abused. So I don't know all of the all the detail and the nuance and all on the surface right now. I think this seems like a pretty good idea if it helps people get out of situations where they're being abused. If that's what it does, then I'm for it.
I'm anxious to see how this goes forward.
Are there unintended consequences? I don't know.
I've read that this morning, and
and hopefully in the coming weeks, when we get a little time, maybe we can get Representative Heverin by, and we can have a conversation to kind of understand a little bit more about it. But on the surface, as a premise, I'm, as Leia would say, 2 thumbs up. You occasionally get a 1 thumb up and a 1 thumb down. Rarely do you get the 2 thumbs down, but
it happens.
It does happen.
We all have those days.
Yes, we do. And listen, theft, and especially grand theft auto, is frowned upon, and it's illegal, and no one should do it. But if you do it, why not just go ahead and double down? Like this guy in Lake City, Florida. A Florida man tried to trade in a vehicle from the same dealership he stole it from. Lake City police responded to a report of a stolen vehicle at a Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership on Monday. Employees told the officers that a man was trying to trade in his vehicle for a new one, but upon checking the VIN number, they found the vehicle was stolen from them already, and he was apparently the perpetrator.
Not necessarily the smartest move in the world.
No, but I mean, can you say, fortitude, right? Takes a lot of guts to be able to do that. But again, still against the law and still frowned upon. Don't do it. Or maybe he just doesn't know any better. I guess that's a possibility. We got to get to a break. Cougar Sports Report. Look back at Cougar Sports for the week and what's on tap for tonight. That's all coming up here on In the Know.
Tomorrow night.
Touchdown! 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 Kentucky! I love this team.
Coach Stoops and the Cats battle under the lights in enemy territory. South Carolina Gamecocks and your Kentucky Wildcats.
The Cats on K105 are brought to you by Litchfield Exterminating. Tune in to Countdown to Kickoff, 4 p.m. tomorrow on K105.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the Jed Foundation.
It's your man Buffalo Steel from the world-famous Nappy Roots, and I got a message for you. Never underestimate you. Never underestimate you.
The Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship provides free tuition for Kentuckians who want to earn a degree in a high-demand career field. Go to workreadyky.com to learn more, or give them a call at 833-711-WRKS.
Available at the Kentucky Community and Technical College System.
Never underestimate you.
Your annual homecoming tailgate party was a rousing success. You caught up with your weird cousin Phil. You and your buddy Dave were crowned cornhole champions. Your famous potato salad drew rave reviews. The home team even won. But the best part was what didn't happen. You didn't drive home buzzed. You got a ride home from your cousin Phil, who may be weird, but also definitely sober. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid with funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
Are you interested in supporting 100% renewable energy? KU offers programs to help you meet your goals. The Renewable Choice Calculator combines our Solar Share and Green Energy programs to create a customized solution for less than $1 per day or 5% more on your energy bill. Supporting local solar and regional renewable energy has never been easier. Visit lge-ku.com/calculator to learn more.
A new study says Americans are worried about big tech. The privately funded Future of Tech Commission says a pretty evenly split bipartisan poll of 80% of registered voters agreed the federal government needs to do everything it can to curb the influence of big tech companies that have grown too powerful and now use our data to reach too far into our lives. On another issue, 84% of voters said they were very nervous about the effects of social media on children. Google's out with some new accessibility tools for mobile. Users of the Android Accessibility Suite can turn a phone's front-facing camera into a switch so that they will be able to navigate their phones with eye movements or with facial features, such as smiling or opening and closing their mouths. Disney says Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings from Marvel Studios will hit Disney Plus on November 12th, along with a slew of other content as part of the celebration of the 2-year anniversary of Disney Plus's launch. Tech Report, Larry Olson, NBC.
Sits a ragged tent where there ain't no trees, and that gospel group telling you and me
Today is Punctuation Day.
I'm a fan.
It's the 18th annual. Very important. Those of you who don't know how to use it, no one can understand you. Run-on sentences and such. Today is Kiss Day, too, not Kiss the band. Give an extra peck to those we love and cherish today. By the way, make sure they're aware you love and cherish them before you go in for that. They might object to your love and cherish, and then therefore it is not Kiss Day for you.
No.
Gonna need the green light on that first, by the way. And then tomorrow is One Hit Wonder Day.
Okay.
Tomorrow is also World Pharmacist Day today, so salute.
Shout out Trevor Ray, right?
Shout out to Trevor Ray and all the great pharmacists that they are celebrating tomorrow. Sam's here for the Cougar Sports Report today. You are aware that you're missing by jaunting off to Muhlenberg County for the game tonight. You're going to miss disorderly conduct at the Honeyfest.
I heard that. That's what I heard. I'm a little disappointed, but luckily the people there at the Honeyfest, before disorderly conduct comes in, they can watch the game on K105 Digital Productions.
They can watch it at the concert because it's available on your mobile device.
True.
But the reason I pointed out, Sam, is because I don't want you coming back later saying you didn't tell me that I was... It was a real Sophie's choice. Would I go Cougar football or would I go disorderly conduct?
There might be disorderly conduct at a football game. You never really know.
They throw a flag on that. There'll be laundry on the field, by the way, if there's disorderly conduct, and I think it's 15 yards and an automatic first down. But the locker room show tonight begins at 6:30. Kick is at 7. An odd thing: Muhlenberg County and Grayson County have been neighbors, separated by a sliver of Ohio and Butler County for quite some time, but there have been various incarnations. In my lifetime, I have seen independent schools in Muhlenberg, not independent, but unconsolidated schools. They had Bremen and they had Greenville High and
Muhlenberg Central.
Yeah, like Drake. I forget the name. But anyway, all of these that my parents talked about. Then they consolidated into Muhlenberg Central. All right, they had a Muhlenberg Central High School. Then they went Muhlenberg North and Muhlenberg South. And then they said this... Are they like running from the law? Is that they keep rebranding? Are they like Spectrum Cable? They keep changing their name so nobody can figure out it's still them.
What is it, the North Stars and the South Suns?
Yeah, South Suns and the North Stars. And then, so finally, Muhlenberg County High School, and they are the Mustangs. And by the way, they got a great facility down there. But this will be only the 11th meeting?
Yep, Grayson leads 7-3. And you do know that Mr. McGee is very jealous of Muhlenberg County's Mustangs nickname. Because I don't know if you know the story from our Cougars in the Classroom a few years ago that I always have to tell when Grayson and Muhlenberg match up, that Mr. McGee wanted Grayson County to be the Mustang.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to tell me he wanted them to be the Pintos, but then the car had such bad reputation they decided against it. But he wanted Grayson County to be Mustang.
He wanted Grayson County to be the Mustang.
I didn't know that. Well, I'm happy they landed on Cougars, I suppose. But so the 11th meeting, and
Cougars up 7-3, and they've won the last 3.
Yeah, it was weird. They went through, Muhlenberg County has had an interesting heritage with football. North was good for a while, and then South went non-competitive for a while. They just said, we can't play football anymore. And that's kind of one of the things that led back to, let's put it's not really that big. It's not really big enough to field teams at a very good level by having North and South, and so they got back into this situation that they're in. But Cougars have won 3 straight, but Cougars, didn't look great against Graves County last week. So we'll kind of talk about what do we know? What do we need to know about this year's Cougars heading into tonight's game?
So they lost last week against Graves County 55-14, but Graves is a really good team. I think Graves is maybe the favorite at this point to win the district. They did have some good moments in that game against a really good team. Hunter Felty had a 73-yard touchdown run, filling in at quarterback for Kaylor Decker, and Chandler McCready also had about an 85-yard kickoff return. So there were some positives in that game. Hunter Thompson has been the player that has really come out on both sides of the ball. He's over 300 all-purpose yards, 5 total touchdowns, and then on the defensive side, 35 tackles and an interception that was a big interception last week as he picked it off in the end zone against Graves County.
Would you call Michael Wood at this point a bit of an X factor?
Yeah, because he did not play against McLean County. And he came in against Butler County and was running like a wildcat quarterback / running back look of sorts. And he has nearly 200 rushing yards, 40 receiving yards, and also has thrown for 20 passing yards. So he's kind of been a little bit of an X factor. And I'm hoping that if when the Cougars get fully healthy, or at least as healthy as they're going to get, that they'll be able to move him both in the backfield and outside to pass the ball a little bit more. And I think he could really turn into that X factor.
Freshman starting quarterbacks are known to give head football coaches premature gray hair early. Premature is early. It drives coaches nuts, but that's what Muhlenberg County is trying to do. Josh Staples, is that their head coach?
Correct.
And so, but he's starting a freshman at quarterback, which is a high wire act.
Canyon Johnson, he got the start last week at quarterback, and just your first career start, and you just passed for 400 yards.
That's all.
That's it.
Okay.
They did lose against Ohio County. He passed for 400 yards, and that's a shame, isn't it? You
passed 400 yards and a loss.
Yeah. His favorite target is Braden Lovin. He has 17 catches for 287 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also has 2 interceptions on the defensive end of the ball. The interesting thing, though, about Muhlenberg County that stands out is that they have 2 players that will really get most of the runs out of the backfield, Alex Revlette and Jackson Karuba, but no rushing touchdowns for Muhlenberg County this season through 4 games. And it's interesting. I don't know that there's probably many schools in the state that haven't scored a rushing touchdown. It's just not something you see that often anymore.
Yeah.
Even teams that pass the ball a lot still have at least 1 rushing touchdown. And it's not like Muhlenberg County has not scored. They've scored 9 touchdowns in the season.
But I don't know how you pass for 400 yards and lose. You're 1-4. You have 0 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I can understand why but really they're 1-4, but they've only played 4 games, right? This will be their 5th tonight because they lost
picked
one.
Up a win like Grayson County picked up a loss against Barron County. They beat Fort Campbell because of a COVID-19 forfeit.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so that's the matchup for tonight. I really hope the Cougars bounce back. Need to come out tonight and kind of wash the Graves County off of them a little bit.
And the Butler County, it's still on there.
Sure. That one, though, was a hard-fought game, even though it hurt a lot. It was a hard-fought game, it was a well-played game, and it was close. When you take a trouncing, it's kind of like, oh, gosh, that stings a little longer, I think. Volleyball. Take me through the weekend volleyball.
So they snapped a 9-game losing streak with a win over Muhlenberg County on Tuesday, and then came back the next night and beat Butler County in straight sets 3-0. Last night was a rematch of last year's regional championship game against Davis County, and they lost 2-0. But both of those sets were really close. So it's a good sign that Grayson is starting to really play their best volleyball. They're really starting to improve a lot. Now that they're kind of officially out of quarantine, they've been playing more, they've been able to practice a little bit. It's kind of, things are starting to kind of mesh together.
Been rainy through the middle part of the week, which has had big impact on both soccer teams. Kind of talk about the girls soccer team first.
The girls soccer team had a couple of cancellations this week. I know They were supposed to host Breck on Tuesday. We were supposed to be there, but they had to break out the boats midway through the game if they were going to play. So they decided that they weren't going to play that game, and last night they lost to Franklin Simpson 2-0. It was senior night there. We had that game on K105 Digital Production, so if you want to go back, you can watch that via all of our different channels.
I saw some great photography of senior night, too. Look good. Lots of proud parents. What about the boys' soccer side?
They also had multiple games canceled due to weather, and they lost to Apollo last night 6-0. Apollo's always a very good soccer team, though.
What kind of week has Landon Skis had for the Cougar golf team?
Yeah, last Saturday placed in 4th in the Charger Invitational with a 77, playing at that was at Old Bridge there in Louisville. So that's a tough course, and I know Coach Embry was talking to me earlier in the week. He was very happy with his team, and it's a young team, but they're starting to play their best golf, especially with regions coming up. Girls on Monday, boys on Tuesday at Oxmoor.
That's hard to believe. I know one more week until fall break for schools, et cetera, but it just – and I know the timing is right, but it's just hard to believe that the postseason, like the region, is here already for the golf program. So girls will play you said both teams are going to be playing at Oxmoor Country Club next week. And Cougar Cross Country, Gatorland Invitational last week. I waved at them when we were in the neighborhood, and I said there's Fillmore Park, which, by the way, was where Taylor's volleyball career began and ended, but that's where they were running the cross-country meet Saturday morning.
So was the Invitational in honor to that?
I think so. Okay. It was an official sanctioned wedding weekend event.
Okay.
Yes.
And so the girls' top finisher was Gracie Portman. She finished in 10th overall. Lady Cougars finished 4th out of 15 teams, so that's really good for another young team.
Sure.
Boys' top finisher Peyton Nash, she finished in 3rd overall, and the team finished 5th out of 19 teams. So another good one. And I mean, when you get into the Bowling Green area, you get some really good competition. And I know I talked with Coach Miller a little bit last night at the Lady Cougar soccer game. I know he's excited about the way his team's coming through, as they got region coming up here in a couple of weeks as well. I do have a little bit of bad news for you, though, is the Hillbilly Run, it's just going to be the elementary school run. And the high school kids, they're going to go to the Hopewell Invitational in Bourbon County this weekend. And the reason for that is that's where state's held. So they're getting a kind of a taste of what the state map is.
I saw a note that said Hopewell, that they were going to run Hopewell, and I thought, so they're going to run from Highway 79 just north of Caneyville over to Highway 54 just west of Litchfield, because that when you say Hopewell to me, that is Hopewell, because that's Hopewell Road. But this is a different Hopewell. This is Bourbon County.
This is Bourbon County, and this is where they hosted state last year, and they're going to host it this year as well. So it kind of gives them a, learning the course a little bit.
The winner doesn't get Bourbon, though, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, that would
maybe the coach.
that would be frowned upon. I just want to make sure that wasn't some type of. But
prize. Good luck to the elementary kids too. They do the Hillbilly Run, which again is my favorite name.
The Indnia Hoosiers come to Houchins LT Smith Stadium and Fikes Field tomorrow to take on the Zappy and the Hilltoppers tomorrow. You got any predictions? Western's rested. They had last week off.
They have. I probably would go Indiana in a close game.
Indiana.
They really need a win. I'd like to see my Hilltoppers pick up a win, though.
Yeah. And Cats on the road. It's going to be it's weird to see Beamer and Stoops, from two very strong coaching lineages, Beamer and Stoops, but
and not be Bob against Frank.
Yeah, you got new coach at South Carolina, and it's always hostile and it's always loud in Columbia on a Saturday night. So what I think the Cats have been preparing with a lot of noise this week to know it's going to be a loud environment. What do you make out of that? Who you got?
Cats should win.
Yeah.
Should win.
Well, I do agree with the consensus that I'm kind of happy they came out not so well last week. I'd rather them have played not well last week and play well this week, because this one, it just means a lot more. So that's the Cats will.
See what you did there, the SEC connection. It just means more.
It just means more. Hang around. By the way, 6:30 tonight, Locker Room Show. 7 o'clock is the kick live from Muhlenberg County High School. We'll have the call for you across all of our platforms. And don't go away, because before we get out of here this morning, we're going to cover the weekend at the Honey Fest, all the events and all that good stuff. So hang around here on In the Know.
Attention Medicaid members, get your
off left side to Michael Wood. He's inside the 5-yard line towards the pylon. He's in. Touchdown, Cougars. Slips the tackle at the 20. He keeps going up across the 35. He's got more room across the 45. Keeps going across the 50. Keeps the legs moving. 35, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cougars.
Let's go.
Steps, throws over the middle, and it is complete to Tom. He gets past the defender to the 20, 50, 10, 5. Let's go. Back from back-to-back losses. Standing in their way of snapping the streak is a road showdown with Muhlenberg County. Can the Cougs pick up a road win, or will it be the Stangs that slide by? I'm Sam Gormley. Join me Friday night for all of the action live from Greenville. Coverage begins with the Locker Room Show at 6:30. Watch live via K105 Digital Productions, or always live on K105.
The federal government provides $150 billion a year to make higher education possible for anyone. Completing the free application for federal student aid, known as the FAFSA, is the first step to getting your share. But an estimated $40 million in financial aid is left on the table each year by Kentucky students. Don't let that happen to you.
Fill out the new and improved FAFSA today. Visit knowhowtogoky.org and join the conversation on Twitter, #KnowHowToPayKY. This message is brought to you by the Pritchard Committee Student Voice Team and the Council on Post-Secondary Education.
There are moments when doors of opportunity open. Moments when barriers are broken. Moments when you're called to provide hope for someone in need. Moments when you harness something deep inside. Moments when you're drawn to a cause greater than yourself. Moments when champions are born. At the University of Kentucky, this is who we are. This is what we do.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Sunny and warm today with highs into the low to mid 70s. A cold front approaches late tonight into early tomorrow. It will bring a couple of spotty showers in the forecast for tomorrow morning, especially for those of you along and north of 64. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Did you know the movie Grease was released in Venezuela as Vaselina?
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Grease was called Vaselina in Venezuela.
I did not know that.
Vaselina's the word. That's a lot
lightning?
harder. That's a lot harder to say. Yeah. Yeah. Vaselina lightning.
I'm going to need to see your works cited.
Like
over
a
there.
thrill. Vaselina lightning. That's just not near. Not
Too
nearly
many
as
syllables.
good. That's right. If you are, for whatever reason, if you're not allowed or you've been uninvited from the Honey Fest, we do want to let you know that Dear Evan Hansen and I'm Your Man and Apache Junction are opening at the cinema this week. But all the cool people are going to be, well, first at the Cougar football game and then at the Honey
Well,
Fest.
they can go to the Honey Fest and watch the Cougar football game.
Not the people who have been uninvited.
Oh, true.
I was giving them an option somewhere they could go and occupy their time so that they aren't.
They want to drive to Greenville?
So they aren't contributing
Down by the Green
to the.
River,
I have a
right?
feeling if you've been uninvited from the Honey Fest, you've also been uninvited from Cougar football, because we don't want you contributing to the disorderly conduct. But tonight, food booths at 5? But do they have? So I know the kids are having a hat contest. We've been talking about it today, and the hat parade. But is there a grown-up hat contest too?
Well, and so Actually, I don't know that it's grown up. So the hat contest obviously has to be a B theme, but it's ages 12 and under.
Oh, so it is for 12 and down. Okay,
if you
gotcha.
took the time like we did last night,
Yeah.
and your kid has a hat and you want to enter the contest, you need to be there at 6 o'clock in the parking lot of Bank of Clarkson.
Okay. Just look for the hats.
Right.
I mean,
It's going to be a similar parade.
Won't you
type.
know by the hats?
You're gonna think it's Derby Day out
if
there.
everybody's wearing a hat, you'll know. And I don't mean like a John Deere hat. This is a Honey Fest
Yes.
hat that you say, okay, yeah, this is I'm in the right place, and that's at 6.
I mean, I guess if you're an adult and you want to wear a hat, you can,
Mhm.
but I don't think that's part of the contest.
Okay, important question.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have pork chop sandwich for lunch from the Band Boosters
Okay.
because they started 50 minutes ago. I hope they're not sold out.
We just mentioned it. Now everybody's running to go get them.
Why don't I think before I talk? Can I get a ribeye for dinner
I think so.
from the Cattleman? Okay.
Yeah,
pretty
I
sure
did.
Cattleman's.
I saw them as I drove by this morning.
The famous blue trailer.
Right.
The famous powder blue trailer. There it is. The famous powder blue trailer.
Well, and I think there are other food booths obviously set up. Disorderly Conduct that we mentioned earlier is the free concert tonight. Don't forget, they are still doing the hay rides. So they'll do the hayride tonight and again tomorrow night.
Is it true that only Disorderly Conduct only plays outlaw country? I mean, that seems to would be. It seems to would make sense. You know.
I mean,
I doubt they're singing a lot of gospel music. Would be my thing.
Yes, it's not gospel.
Okay,
tonight,
that was last
pretty
night.
sure.
Right, last
Gospel
night
was
was
last
the.
night.
Because
Mhm.
Sam, could you hear it at your house?
No, I was at
After
Lady Cougar Soccer.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I was at Lady Cougar
sometimes
Soccer.
those gospel concerts go like you've met some Baptist-Costals, haven't you?
I have.
All right, so
I have.
you know they can worship way into the night. So tomorrow the parade is the big
It is.
the big thing. And if you've never been to it, and I think tomorrow will be big, but it won't be the biggest that it's ever been. But Sam, you know, the first time you went,
Yeah, I was very surprised.
you went. It looked like the children of Israel leaving Egypt across the desert.
That's how I felt my first time.
Yeah, I
was
went
like,
again
what?
with no expectations, none whatsoever, and I was blown away.
They're ricked like wood. People are just shoved and stacked along that parade route. It's unbelievable. So that'll be tomorrow. Judging is at 8. Parade starts at 9. And then what other big event tomorrow do I need to know about?
So a couple things to keep in mind. If you are a craft booth, you start set up at 6 a.m. Craft booths open at 8 a.m.
Are late arrivals okay? I can't be there at 6, but I could make it by
honey,
8,
I'm not
8:45.
sure, but
All right.
you are supposed to open if you're a craft booth at 8. So I
Okay.
guess get there and get it together. Parade judging. So if you have something in the parade, that begins at 8 with the parade starting at 9.
All right.
Carnival, of course, is open all day. Karaoke is the sign-ups are 11 to 11:45 with karaoke contest starting at 12 noon. There are prizes and there is a fee to enter. So
All right. But then there's live music again tomorrow night. I think I read on the schedule.
yes.
And you can get the full schedule at clarksonhoneyfest.com.
Yes.
That's clarksonhoneyfest.com. Are they doing the shuttle again? Do you know? Sometimes I see that Sam says yes.
I
yes,
think
they
so,
are. Yeah,
yes.
and I think from multiple locations. There's plenty of opportunities for you to park and take the shuttle. But I do know that you have to wear your mask when you're on the shuttle.
Really?
That I do know is a thing because that's a CDC requirement. Because if you're on a bus, you
Because
have
of
to wear
public transportation?
Correct. You got to wear a mask.
All
So
right.
that's something to keep in mind.
Who drew the short straw in enforcing that?
You know the chief?
I do. I do. I can't say. What button do I press to end this segment? Yes, I do. Again, I asked the question: who drew the short straw in enforcing that? Sam's going to be the mask police. That's his job at the Honey Fest.
Ooh, I'm busy tomorrow.
Sam's the mask police. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Finish it up for the week here on In the Know.
What do you do when you're out shopping and someone's child has a meltdown? Do you walk away irritated? Or do you offer encouragement to the mom, assuming she's probably doing the best she can? to get the situation under control. Think about what a mom needs in that moment. Does she need people to look at her critically, or to make snide remarks about getting her kids under control? Or does she need someone to come alongside her and tell her she's doing a good job? Popular author and speaker Jill Savage shares a powerful story about seeing a mom dealing with fussy children in a store. As Jill passed by, she gave that exhausted mom a simple smile, something she calls a high five with her eyes. It turns out that mom had actually attended one of Jill's conferences and knew who she was. She later wrote to Jill to share how much that one expression of support and encouragement had meant to her. A small smile reminded the mother that she wasn't alone. It gave her the strength and the energy to finish the day well. It's impossible to overstate the power of encouragement. We never really know the circumstances a lot of moms face every day. If you ever come across a mother who looks like she could use a high five with the eyes, give her a smile or a kind word and tell her she's doing great. All it takes is a moment and a simple gesture to make a big difference in the heart of a weary mom, and you might just turn her day around. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
Attention Medicaid members. Get your first COVID vaccine shot September 6th through 30th and become eligible to win a 4-day, 3-night vacation to the most magical place ever in Orlando, Florida. 20 vacations will be given away, and each includes airfare, accommodations, and park passes. To enter and for more details, visit KAHP.org. That's KAHP.org. This message is sponsored by the Kentucky Association of Health Plans. Visit KAHP.org and get the shot, Kentucky.
The federal government provides $150 billion a year to make higher education possible for anyone. Completing the free application for federal student aid, known as the FAFSA, is the first step to getting your share. But an estimated $40 million in financial aid is left on the table each year by Kentucky students. Don't let that happen to you.
Fill out the new and improved FAFSA today. Visit knowhowtogoky.org and join the conversation on Twitter, #KnowHowToPayKY. This message is brought to you by the Pritchard Committee Student Voice Team and the Council on Post-Secondary Education.
They all started looking real suspicious at him, and he jumped up and said, "Now just wait a minute, Jim, you know he's lying. I've been living here all of my life. I'm a faithful follower of Brother John Birch, and I belong to the Antioch Baptist Church, and I ain't even got a garage. You can call home and ask my wife."
Just confirming, yes, this is my karaoke song at the Honey Fest for tomorrow. I can do it, and I don't even need I don't have to do it karaoke. I can do it without the words on the screen.
I thought you were going to do Devil Went Down to Georgia with the Cougar Pet Band behind you.
Nope. I'm not doing publicly a public performance of The Devil Went Down to Georgia until the bells come to the table.
What if they were the instrumental behind you singing it?
I would high step up and down the 50-yard line. You'd think I was in the Tennessee State Marching Band, walking through there with the and get my cane and going. And
we've got this on recording, don't we?
Right? Somebody save this.
Listen,
we've got connections now with band students.
The reason that I mentioned it is because it would be a throwback to my junior year in marching band, because I moved off of the 50-yard line one time. I just marched up and down the 50-yard line. So that's why I said it's a routine I know. Okay. MB's point to ponder for today. We can't spend a whole lot of time on this, but settle this once and for good. Once and for all. Should you tip for takeout?
I go back and forth on this. As somebody who even worked in a restaurant.
Should you tip for takeout?
I think if it's a takeout only, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
And yeah.
Because they do put the food together.
Yes, but here's where it's a slippery slope. DoorDash and Grubhub are great about this, that you don't have to do a gratuity until after your meal experience has concluded. When you do takeout, you're putting some level of faith in the fact that it's there, it's right, it's good.
Are all of my sauces in there?
Yes, that's exactly right? Without having to have a full-on audit of everything. So there is a leap of faith that you're having to take. Now, there are some places that I might have done gratuity on takeout during the pandemic that I wouldn't have before, But now, is that customary and it'll be that way forever, just like everything else is the new normal?
Do you tip at a food truck?
It kind of depends. I kind of look at it like how much work is involved with this process. Did I have to fill up my own drink? Did I have to, like, on and on? But I also know that a lot of restaurant workers, restaurants where their staffs are relying upon gratuities and which ones they're not. You can pretty much identify
Almost all of them are relying on gratuity. A large percentage.
Unless it's fast food.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
correct,
unless it's
correct.
Now, you're seeing a shift, and here's where in Europe, you don't do gratuities like we do gratuities. Like, you might leave $1 or $2. It's not 15 to 20% or whatever. It's something very nominal for excellent service. But the meal experience is more expensive, and you're seeing a lot of restaurateurs now completely shift, and they're basically they're publishing, don't leave a gratuity. This is your all-in price. Now, your menu prices are higher, but to do what it takes in order to retain staff and get them to come to work and so they can feed themselves, you're taking the guesswork out of the gratuity aspect and just saying, we're not working on that model anymore. Do you think that will catch on?
I don't know.
Do you walk in and you go, is this a tipping or a non-tipping restaurant?
Could you put a sign on the door? What do
I'd really like, remember those workers in the back that are making the food? Give them a tip too, As somebody who did that for a while, we work hard.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, because what's the gratuity for? Is it just a supplement to the meal experience and saying, well, I think the meal was worth this, but where does it go? And is there pooling? And should there be pooling? And so I don't know. It's just it's hard. And the landscape is changing is my point. It's not getting any easier to figure out. On television tonight, the season 1 finale of Secret Celebrity Renovation. Boston Rob from Survivor fame is on this episode tonight. Dateline NBC, the season 30 premiere on NBC, season 12 premiere of Gold Rush on Discovery Channel. On Sunday evening, the season 2 premiere of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, the season 2 premiere of Supermarket Sweep, both of those are on ABC. The Rookie, season 4 premiere, also on ABC. The Tony Awards present Broadway's Back. The 33rd season premiere of The Simpsons on Sunday evening.
Wow.
Well, I do. You know what you're telling me with reading that Friday night show listing is that there's nothing on, so you got to watch Cougar football.
That's right. It's available on your smart TV.
Mm-hmm. YouTube.
Today's highlight in history. This date in 2001, President Bush ordered a freeze on the assets of 27 people and organizations with suspected links to terrorism. The Wall Street panic known as Black Friday occurred this date in 1869. Babe Ruth made his farewell appearance as a player with the Yankees this date in 1934. Big series this weekend. Big series.
It's done for the Reds. They've blown it.
They're playing the Red Sox. The stinky Red Sox.
Dr. Seuss passed away this date in 1991. And Nancy Pelosi launched impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump this date in 2019. Birthdays today. Lou Dobbs is 76. Mean Joe Green is 75 today. Gone but not forgotten. F. Scott Fitzgerald in 1896. Jim McKay, 1921. Jim Henson in 1936. Linda McCartney in 1941. Phil Hartman in 1948. Chart toppers for today. Let's go back to 1958. Tommy Edwards was number 1. Tommy Edwards. I think I know him. I think he's from Short Creek.
Does this sound like him?
Yep. Sounds exactly like him.
Will this be his karaoke song tomorrow?
If he opts not to duet with me on An Uneasy Rider by the Charlie Daniels Band. And this for my encore, because you think my encore would have to be Devil Went Down to Georgia, and it's not. My encore would be Legend of the Woolly Swamp.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane.
Do neither of you know Legend of the Woolly Swamp?
I don't think so. I'm going with no. I mean, given the looks on our faces.
Not a clue.
If you ever go back to the Woolly Swamp, well, you better not go at night.
How much money I gotta spend.
Listen, you kids.
Get back to my baby.
The Letter.
The only one I can think about today is I got to think about John Prine, since we're headed to Muhlenberg County. Or the Everly Brothers.
Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County?
Down by the Green River. Except we're not going to Paradise.
You'll see it.
We will. Hard to miss.
It is hard to miss. 1976, Walter Murphy and the Big Apple Band, A Fifth of Beethoven. Ba 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 ba. Kind of funky. Let's go to, what did I just do there? 1976. Let's go to 1980 to the 5.
All right.
Bill Collins, number 1, and Ricky. Don't Lose My Number. Billy, sorry. Ricky, Won't You Lose My Number is a completely different song. It's not Steely Dan. This is Bill Collins.
I could see this as karaoke too.
Yep. Listen, I'm gonna endorse Mark Ronson's "Watch the Sound" on Apple TV Plus. Breaks down the most next to the episode I saw most recently was on drum machines, and they broke down some of the most iconic drum machine tracks, like songs that when you hear it you go, oh wow! And one of them is
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins in the Air Tonight is a famous drum machine, except for the most famous doo 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 doo. Those are the only real drums on that track. Is that doo 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 doo? And I didn't know that Mark Ronson, his dad, is Mick Jones, co-founder of Foreigner. That's his dad.
Oh wow!
I thought, well, that's weird. I mean, not weird, but it makes sense.
Mark Ronson's done a lot of work with Bruno Mars, I believe.
He has, absolutely. Very famous producer. All right, 1994, Fair or Foul. So this is Luther Vandross and Mariah Carey.
So are you two going to get up there on stage and do this one together?
We've done it. Not on stage.
I was going to say, be careful there. So for me, foul. But you know my reason.
Foul, yeah. I mean, it's not bad.
We can do this in the car, but yeah.
I'm sure Alea would love to see you both up on stage singing to this.
No, she'd say, stop singing. Stop singing. Shake Your Tail Feather in 03, Nelly, P. Diddy, and Murphy Lee. I don't know. Am I okay? I'm working without a net on this deal. I get into these songs, and I always have to wonder, does that have cuss words in it? I can't remember.
I can't. Yeah, I'm not.
This song doesn't have a cuss word in it. 2012, Little Big Town was number 1. Might be one of your last great weekends to head out on the pontoon on one of our Great Lakes. So there you go. Have a great weekend no matter what you do. Just make sure you get a pork chop sandwich and a ribeye sandwich at some point in time today, or you'll be, as Bugs Bunny would say, you'll be sorry. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Happiness is a place between too much and too little. Happiness is a place between too much and too little, like having the exact proper number of pork chop sandwiches. That's happiness.
Is there a number? Is there a number that's not too many?
Yeah, it's easy to cross over, and you go, "Oh, I can't. I overdid it." That's MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. We look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the